to combat the global scourge. Now, it is in this regards that Nigeria Inter-Religious Council, in another display of faith, organized national prayers to seek the face of God over the pandemic. Marachukwu Omenka reports from the National Christian Center, where an interdenominational service held earlier today.
A health pandemic, the novel coronavirus, challenges the world in treatment and cure, as available research medication are yet to be certified. The Nigerian Inter-Religious Council believes seeking the face of God in prayers is necessary to eradicate the virus.
The national response that we have put in place is intended to protect the people of Nigeria. It is not designed to afflict us. Government has always been conscious of its responsibility to provide for the good and welfare of the people.
Turn to God only when in the face of danger. God gives us 168 hours a week, 1,440 minutes a day. How much time do we spend in conversation with God?
The church urged faithful and other Nigerians to do away with lip services and rededicate themselves to the service of God and humanity.
So we are calling on God to intervene, because God is more powerful than any virus or any disease.
Of the people is the voice of God. So when we shout on Lord, our good Lord is not deaf.
While this congregation anchors its faith on God for solution to COVID-19, the necessity for Nigerians to strictly adhere to personal hygiene protocol echoed loudly in the service. In Abuja, Omenka Marachukwu, NTA News.
And the COVID-19 task force team in Cross River State has cautioned residents along the state's boundaries that the ease of the nation lockdown on interstate travels is not an excuse for careless lifestyles devoid of the NCDC's protocols on COVID-19. Now, the caution was part of the team's message to churches in Calabar during the COVID-19 preventive protocols compliance check in that state. Oku Ekpenyang reports.
It was a mild interruption of church services while welcoming the Cross River State COVID-19 task force team, who is reiterating the need to strictly adhere to safety precautions as regards COVID-19.
Please take responsibility. If you find any signs or symptoms, whether within yourself or someone around you, please immediately go and get tested free of charge.
With the cooperation of the Cross River State branch of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, and some Christian clerics, the message here is that of taking responsibility for your health.
So far, those who have complied are more than those who have not. I think we need some time. I think we need more effort now. In fact, I would say maybe force to make them comply.
Visits like these by the Cross River State COVID-19 task force team to places of worship and other public spaces is irregular for the team in Calabar. Oku Ekpenyang, NTA News.
And the Nigerian Army is intensifying efforts on non-kinetic operations to further improve communication with the public. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukubrete, stated this in a message during distribution of COVID-19 palliatives to the people of Kaura Namoda in Zamfara State. And that's as part of activities marking 2020 Army Day celebration, as well as the 157-year correspondent.
The commencement of distribution of palliatives to the people of Kauranamoda in Zamfara State. The beneficiaries say this gesture will cushion the number of
to ensure society civil purpose for the cooperation with the Nigerian Army over the years.
Similar presentations were made to over 500 people in Faskari, Katsina State. From Kaura Namoda in Zamfara State, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And the Force Commander, Multinational Joint Task Force, Major General Ibrahim Mano Yusuf, commends the European and African Unions for enhancing operational efficiency of the MNJTF through provisions of some logistics. Now, a statement by the Chief of Military Public Information of the Joint Task Force, Colonel Timothy Antiga, indicates that Major General Yusuf gave the commendation at the launching of the quarterly supply of petroleum products in Sector 3, Monguno, Borno State. Now, the Force Commander notes that the funding by the European Union through the framework of the African Union has supported the Joint Task Force operations in the region. The supply of the products began on June the 25th, 2020. And the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has announced new appointments and redeployments in the National Oil Company as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen and reposition NNPC for greater efficiency, transparency and profitability in line with the next agenda of Mr. President. A statement by the Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, NNPC, Dr. Kenny Obatero, indicates that the Group General Manager, Crude Oil Marketing Division, Adokie Tombemie, has been appointed the new Chief Operating Officer upstream, while the Managing Director of the Nigerian Gas Marketing Company, Mohammed Abdul Kabir Ahmed, has been appointed new Chief Operating Officer, Corporate Services. Several other top management officials have also been reappointed, including Elizabeth Aliyuda and Usman Farouk, who are now managing directors. Now, the statement also indicates that President Buhari has accepted the resignation of Roland Ubaram and Engineer Farouk Garba Said, thanking them for their meritorious service. And the Court of Appeal Abuja Division has upheld the election of Governor Yaya Bello at the November 2019 Kogi State Election Petition Tribunal after dismissing the 4 appeals filed against his victory. Olabode Arawa was there.
Failure of the Election Tribunal to take cognizance of the submissions that election malpractices took place during the November 16, 2019 Kogi governorship election were the grounds of appeals filed by Musa Wada of the PDP and Natasha Akpoti of the SDP. The appellate court held that despite conducting a forensic examination of the ballot papers, the appellants were unable to prove the allegations. The court subsequently dismissed the appeal for lacking in merit.
Their case was restricted to overvoting and alteration, and the court in the main found that they just dumped documents on the trial tribunal, expecting the court to tie their documents and didn't bring the appropriate witnesses to substantiate their case.
Our clients are not satisfied with the judgment and have right away instructed us to get a copy of the judgment and proceed on appeal to the Supreme Court.
On the appeals by Democratic People's Party and the Action People's Party, the court also affirmed decision of the tribunal that the appellants failed to substantiate their claims.
So now it is the Supreme Court of Nigeria now that will determine whether if it is INEC that determine valid nomination or it is the political party that determine valid nomination. So as far as we are concerned, we thank the Court of Appeal because even though the judgment is against us, but the main issue has been narrowed down. Justice
Adamu Jaro, who led a panel of 5 justices, awarded 100,000 naira costs in favor of the respondents. In Abuja, Olabode Arawa, NTA News.
All right, let's quickly take another redeployment story, this time from the FRSC. And the Corps Marshal, Dr. Boboye Yemi, has approved the immediate redeployment of some senior officers of the Corps. According to the statement issued by the Corps Public Education Officer, Bisi Kazim, the Corps Marshal implored the concerned officers to remain steadfast in their new assignments and rededicate themselves to the challenges of moving the Corps to greater heights, particularly in the face of the current health challenges posed by COVID-19. UEMA assured members of the public that the FRSC will remain committed to supporting the federal government in achieving its social and economic goals through safety on the highways. Cases of missing children is getting attention at the top level of government in Kano State. Now, the inauguration of the 16-member committee for the implementation of the recommendations of an investigation panel into the kidnap and sale of young children from the state is expected to end the scourge and bring relief to residents in that state. Abdullahi Mustafa reports that Governor Abdullahi Umar Gandoje gave marching orders to members of the committee to ensure everyone involved gets justice.
Members of the implementation committee were mostly those who served in the investigation panel that worked and gave recommendations on how to ensure justice for the victims and prevent future occurrence of such unfortunate incidents. It has as chairman a retired Kano High Court Judge Wada Umar Ranu and membership from community and religious leaders, law enforcement agencies, civil society organizations, and the State Ministry of Justice.
The recommendations of the committee are many, and they require people with experience. And we found it that there are no better people with experience as far as that report is concerned than the same committee that did the investigation.
Will leave no stone unturned in the execution of this assignment.
He appealed for support and cooperation from all stakeholders to ensure successful discharge of the important assignment. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
And from Bauchi State comes a report that following the suspension of the Emir of Misau, Ahmad Suleiman, and the local government's caretaker chairman, Governor Bala Mohammed has set up a committee to address land disputes and other related matters across the state. Mohammed Ibn Mohammed reports that the committee comprised the caretaker chairman of all the local government areas in the state and is expected to come up with solutions driven by best practices in terms of geographic information system as well as land management.
Looking at some of the contentious issues, not only in Misau but in the state generally, we met and discussed extensively with the 20 caretaker chairmen of both states and raised issues regarding the problem and challenges of managing our land use, and of course issues that are arising therefrom, which causes a lot of perception, disgruntlement, disagreement, and conflict.
Sequel to the recent clash in Malunje village of Zadawa ward in Misau local government area that resulted to loss of lives and other issues of land disputes across the state, the 19-member committee will visit villages and wards in the 20 local government areas of the state to ensure the establishment of cattle routes and rescue reserves from illegal allocation.
To investigate and determine if such government reserve areas have been illegally allocated by unauthorized persons or group of persons and those persons who are beneficiaries of such illegal allocations.
The 19-man committee has 4 weeks to submit its findings and recommendations. In Bauchi, Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad, NTA News.
Now, rain, and the rains are here, but in parts of the country, particularly in Ogun State, residents in high volume of rainfall and flood-prone areas in Abuja are counting their losses. But the story may soon be changing, but that's if the promise of the former state governor and senator representing Ogun's Central Senatorial District, Ibikunle Amosu, is anything to go by. Leko Agbonde tells us all about it.
In Abeokuta, whenever it rains for days, some streets, roads, and people's homes are usually heavily flooded. And when this happens, the roads and streets become impassable as most have developed potholes and gullies, resulting in heavy traffic congestion for motorists and passengers. The state former governor, Ibikunle Amosu, on a tour of the affected areas, expressed sadness for the level of damage. Places he inspected include Temidire, where the only bridge linking Ijeja to Igbore was damaged, Amolasho, and the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, where the perimeter fence was also destroyed. Residents were delighted by his action, noting that the situation could have been worse but for the good job undertaken by his administration to construct bridges in the various flood-prone areas of the metropolis. Areas like Ijaye, Isale-Igbeyin, Shokori, usually noted for devastating experiences when rain falls, however, had no serious issue this time. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
And Benue State government says it will continue to enforce its open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law, as well as other related matters in the state. Special advisor to the governor on security matters, Colonel Paul Hemba, emphasized this when the state livestock guards arrested 92 cows for flouting the law in the state. Charles Abba reports. Okay, we'll bring you that report. I'm not sure it's ready at the moment. Let's move on to other stories now. And the federal government, through its Ministry of Agriculture, has flagged off 2020 aerial spray against transboundary pest at Yola International Airport in Adamawa State. Simon Archer reports that the exercise is aimed at protecting farmers' investment for optimal productivity.
Global attention may be shifted to the fight against COVID-19 due to its devastating effect on the society. The killer birds destroy farm produce and need to be curtailed to enhance food security and sufficiency in the country.
I want to declare open the flag.
This development necessitates the federal government through the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to officially flag off year 2020 area spray against transboundary pest in Yola as one of the 9 frontline states in the country that is affected by the effect of killer birds on its farming activities.
In Adamawa State, the area spray will be carried out in 9 local government areas. The public is hereby advised to be on the watch out for death birds and to avoid consumption of salt in order to ensure our safety.
With the official flag-off ceremony year 2020 area spray against transboundary pest in Adamawa State so as to enhance heat-free farming season due to the devastating effect of killer birds. This aircraft, Cessna 172, will be used to mitigate the effect of migratory pests on crop production so as to enhance food security and sustainability in the society.
They normally lay their eggs in taifa grasses or in places that you cannot easily access. That is the essence of using this fixed-wing aircraft. We are not killing all the birds, but the essence is to reduce, to mitigate, to decimate them to a level that they cannot be very, very destructive.
In Yola, Simon Asher, NTA News.
And for sports lovers, good news may be in the horizon. Super Eagles is tipped to qualify for 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Tamara Ebiwe tells us all about it.
Despite being grouped alongside Nigeria in the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, coach of Central African Republic, Francois Zahoui, has tipped the Super Eagles of Nigeria as one of the teams to qualify for the Qatar Fiesta. Zahoui, who led Cote d'Ivoire to the final of the 2012 Africa Cup of Nations, said Nigeria are clear favorites, having participated in several World Cups and have the required experience. Nigeria will play alongside Central African Republic, Liberia and Cape Verde in the qualifiers. Still on football, Napoli manager Gennaro Gattuso says Nigerian forward Victor Osimhen is still a Lille player. The former AC Milan defensive midfielder Gattuso distanced himself from speculations about the 21-year-old Nigerian being linked to a move to the São Paulo. In basketball, the National Basketball Association, NBA, has announced its schedule of scrimmages in Orlando that will give teams a chance to prepare before the 2019-2020 season restarts. The NBA season is set to resume on July 30, having been suspended for 3 months due to COVID-19 pandemic. Tamara Ebiwe, NTA News.
Right, let's keep our fingers crossed for the Super Eagles there. 8 days after